Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is a weekend review for the week ending March 3rd, 2023. Looking at a quarterly chart of the S&P 500. Let's take a zoom in here one layer at a time. It's a monthly chart. Just got the EMA 5 SMA 10 bull cross. Last time that happened was June 20, 2020. The bear cross occurred here in February 2022. These are pretty good, reliable short-term trend indicators. The long-term trend is obviously up. You zoom into the weekly here. You see that price has basically just been stuck inside this range, going back to May. So this is why it's been very important to identify the leaders, names like NVDA, CROX, ENPH, and ride them as they outperform something that's basically gone sideways for 6 to 9 months now. That being said, everyone's got an eye on this downtrend. Looks like we came back. We tested this downtrend. The 20 is now rising, which is what you want to see. Closed above all moving averages on the weekly. This is a bullish chart. Before we move on from the weekly, PPO is above zero. ADX is at a trough. So as price pulled back, ADX went to zero. All right, so this thing's ready to run. You look at the daily chart, PPO reset to zero, ADX to zero. And this macro downtrend has been in play, back in play. To me, it looks like something like this, big ABC structurally. It's possible it just completed. I'm not sure. These things are so subjective, so you throw the fibs on there. Let's put the 618 in. Yeah, she hit the 618 at 394. It's possible the thing's done. We'll see. Point is, PPO has reset to zero. Price has reset to zero. Price has reset to POC and rising SMA 50. The 200 is flattening out. The weekly chart looks ready to roll, only below the 80, and the 80 is sloping down. The 200 is sloping up. Let's throw the ball around the horn. Same story over here at QQQ, but QQQ just now finally getting positive on the histogram. The histogram is positive on the blue PPO line. Outside bullish reversal candlestick across the board on all the majors, closing above the previous week's high. So that's very bullish as long as she closes above 299.92 this coming week. So this coming week closes on the 10th. So on March 10th, as long as price is above 299.92, what that will tell you is that you've got a 3 to 5 continuation candle set up here. And the posture here is, and you can take all the indicators away and just look at the structure real quick. This is obviously a corrective move lower, coming off of an impulsive move higher. So we can keep the subjective stuff aside, focus on the objective stuff. Objectively, this is an outside candle and it's recaptured all the moving averages. Throw the ball around the horn, IWM, above all the moving averages on the weekly, less the 80, same story. Bull flag pulled back to the low of the breakup candle, 186.83, found demand. Now, boom, back above EMA 5, setting that bear trap that I talked about coming. You can see the story is basically the same everywhere. This is a bull flag. All right, here's the flag. We pull back. You start to break out the posture. This thing could be ready to run. You just got to wait and see. But this is coiled and this range has broke. So just keep an eye that this higher low pattern is in play, and it's possible that higher low was just put in at a rising 10 on the weekly. And if this thing is at trend mode, which it did get above 30 on ADX, it's possible that this thing is ready to run. Just got to keep an open mind. That's what every single chart is showing us. And again, if we zoom all the way back out to the quarterly like we did to start this video, all you see is price pulling back into the rising 20 on the quarterly, ADX resetting to zero, right? And this is just a high, all-time high, 3 candles pull back, inside, up type setup. And the 10 is up. If she can recapture the 10 here on the quarterly, close above 198. I mean, again, is 198 possible? Of course, I just showed you how 198 is possible. If that's the case, then you've got the quarterly flipping up, and yeah, 210, 220s in play. And we'll save the best for last. SMH, just super strong. PPO resetting to 0, can't even get to 0. ADX troughed out here. Bull flag posture, nothing wrong with this chart at all. This is a brand new bull market look. SMA 50 crossing above the 200. You look at the weekly, you know, EMA 510, boom, 1050, boom, held inverse head and shoulders, right? And really, who's leading this? It's being led by NVDA. Right, and I've put together this weekly review here, but what we're looking for on NVIDIA is we've got the inverse head and shoulders pattern. It's being confirmed by volume, which is what you want to see. Did not get the throwback. You had ER the week of the 20th, and that throwback, which was being set up, like a nice little pullback to the 10, nice little pullback to this neckline at 193. They found buyers at 204 and kept going, riding the top of the weekly Bollinger Band, riding EMA 5. Just enjoy the ride. This is a very strong trend. ADX is confirming that. PPO is confirming that. So what we're really looking for as we move higher, does price stay above EMA 5? Yes. Does the slope of EMA 5 remain at this high of an angle? We'll see, but so far, yes. As we rise higher and we approach the supply levels up here at 275, 267, do we find supply at 237 and that's the end of this? Or do we actually get up to 267, 275 and then pull back? We're going to have to wait and see. The inverse head and shoulders profit target is up here around 325. So just being patient with this one. It's my largest holding, but obviously you can see it is leading SMH higher. And as we throw the ball around the horn, we have to look at rates, which on the weekly just put in a doji, which is not a good look. I talked about this potential pattern here, an expanded pattern. We'll see how that one plays out. I mean, it did hit kind of like right on target. You could have price then come all the way back down here and then do something like that. We'll see. It's also possible this is one big one. We're looking at 2, and now we're going to start a much larger correction in rates. Just as everyone's thinking rates are going to keep going up forever and ever. Don't forget, this is a range. So all of this is just stuck in a range right now. Despite the look here being very nice, this is not a technical breakout. And so what this means is, you know, by the way, there's nothing wrong with this daily chart either. This could easily continue going higher, but this doji and then gap lower, close at the low isn't the best look, but still above the 10, still above the 5. 510 bull cross still in motion. No reason to think this thing has somehow reversed. Now, if this coming week we close below 389, now we've got something to talk about. But what is of note is that this time, as price approached 4, which is where it was back October. Back in October, SPY, this downward pressure, put SPY around 350. This time, SPY's at 393. So the move, and the same is true with TLT. Like what you're supposed to see, and this is a perfect flat here, right? What you're supposed to see, and what you did see for all of 2022, is every time TNX did its thing and just kept setting highs, right? And breaking out. Any breakout was a reason to sell equities. It was a reason to sell bonds, any bond. So the soft asset classes got sold off every time TNX broke out and rose. Well, here's a time where you have TNX all the way back up at 410. She peaked at 430. So, I mean, within 10% of an all-time high. And this time, when you look over at the equities, we don't have lows. We're nowhere near lows, and what you do have is bullish reversal candlesticks on the weekly on both of these. after what looks like I said, was a very healthy ABC correction on the weekly. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that one plays out. And the same is true here with the dollar, right? This top that I called in the dollar, you could see here the quarterly close was, sorry about that. You can see the quarterly close was below the previous quarter's low, which is definitely a red flag in an uptrend. That was a change in character. It's of note. It's on the table. You need to not lose sight of that. And then you come to the monthly. EMA 5, SMA 10 bear cross just took place. So if she can't get above 28.61, this is a massive sell. And this PPO bear cross could be taking place on the monthly. You look at the weekly. PPO back to zero, and looks like she's trying to put in a bull cross. But the 20 is providing supply. And this, to me, looks like a bearish Harami reversal right at a declining 20 and the 50. So if the dollar is going to be topping and TNX is topping and equities seem to have put in an outside reversal candlestick, right? This is a bullish outside reversal candlestick, and those were bearish reversal candlesticks, right? If TNX and dollar are pulling back, it means that soft assets like equities have a chance to continue to march higher. And that's what I'm expecting to see. And if equities are going to march higher, that means names like NVDA that we just looked at, names like OII. I mean, this is just textbook, right? 1820, 1820, resistance, captures on volume from a bullish momentum configuration standpoint where ADX and PPO are both confirming trend, pulls back, confirms 1820 as demand, and is now marching higher. And if you look at the monthly chart, you'll see what was a doji just really is an inside bar pull back to the 5. The momentum here is just absolutely off the charts. ADX, PPO confirming on the monthly, trend mode higher. Quarterly, ADX is at a trough, which has historically led to large reversals or continuation points. And PPO just committed a bull cross, and histogram is very, very bullish, like back here. So like this thing can run easily to 28, 33, if not 42. And current price is 22. So this thing's easily in the double category. And the most beautiful part about this setup is if you look at the quarterly going all the way back, this is your double bottom setup. Okay. So price already came all the way back down here and did not want to set a new low relative to the 1995 low in the 2020 crash. She could have, and she didn't. So that's just something to keep of note. And now she's come in and put in what looks like a monthly inverse left shoulder head, right shoulder type thing, and breakout now on volume. And so this is a top name for me to watch. And like if you go back to look from when the October lows happened in SPY, OII is up 200%. So you can't, it just makes so much more sense to be playing individual names than it does to be playing the ETFs and the equities and the majors. But the point is that when I compare, and I can show you here, you get the same picture, right? SPY, UUP, buy signal favoring equities. SPY, TLT, trend continuation, continue to favor equities over bonds. SPY versus gold put in a major reversal to start 2022 where gold took over leadership, but now it's kind of coiling. So I don't really know. Like bulls are playing defense at the 200, bears are playing defense at the 50. We'll see how that one plays out. SPY versus DBC. DBC was outperforming equities for a long time, and now it looks like equities are outperforming DBC. And if you go back to the start of the year, which is way back here, you can see NVIDIA is up 67%, Airbnb, ACLS, WRLD, SDRL, WFRD. These are some names that I've been watching from the scan, and this is their performance. And so you kind of just want to like build your portfolio around the ones that are outperforming. And if you have anything that's down here, you kind of just get rid of it. But anyways, so let's go back and look at a few more names. Like I through OII on the chart. Let's now look at CROX, which I think is primed for a big move. Really, all these inside weeks are 8 inside weeks based off of this January 9th candle. The ER had her close above and then right back inside, and now she's just coiling tight on this huge. So this is just a massive bull wedge pattern. And if I look at this chart on the very, very big timeline, I'm looking at all-time high challenge, put in a big cup, put in a handle, and then maybe all-time highs from there. And if you look at the weekly, we just have a huge bull wedge pattern. You look at the daily, ascending channel, bull flag pattern, comes up, consolidates for a long time, PPO resets to 0, ADX resets to 0, and then she can move higher again. And that's where we are right now. And I think this name, if you look at the range here from last week, this range gets broken, guaranteed. So when this range gets broken, you're going to see 116 or you're going to see 131 and then ultimately 143 or 112. Another thing to take note of is like this entire time that SPY was basically going sideways to down, you had individual names like EMPH, which went up for 10 months straight, 200%. NVDA, like I showed you, CROX, like I showed you, OII, like I showed you, ANSS, another one. I mean, look at this trend mode on the weekly. Look at the monthly. Just got back to 0, just now putting in. I mean, this thing could rip for a long time, at least back to 413. Another 30% higher. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here. Obviously, you'd like to see a pullback into these moving averages like you got back here. That would have been awesome. But if not, you might just be forced to buy at the 5 and ride it until the 510 bear cross. But the point I'm getting at is that there's so many names here in the equity space that are telling me that who cares if the bottom's in or not, or the top's in or not, or if we get all-time highs or not. We've got tons of trends to play. And I will end with this over here. New high, new lows. You kind of want to see this stay in the top part if this is a new bull market, right? And if we start to get something that looks more like this again, well, then we'll have a different discussion. All right, that's all I got. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next week.